Bobby Fischer forces the resignation of his opponent Wolfgang Unzicker with just one rook sacrificing move in this match, and Fischer is playing with the black pieces here, and Wolfgang is playing with the white pieces here. So after this, the Sicilian defense on the board. So after knight captures the d4 pawn, knight to f6 and knight c3 is played, and a6 makes this the natural variation of the Sicilian defense. And now bishop comes to e2, looking at the castle on the king side. So pawn is pushed to e5, attacking the knight here, basically creating a more control on the center in this variation. But there's a slight little weakness on this backward d6 pawn, but it is offsetted by the central control for black. So knight goes to b3 and bishop comes to e6 here, basically inviting pushing the pawn here to f4 and then to f5, and which basically will weaken this king pawn on the e file as well. So castles on the king side, Wolfgang, and knight to d7 by Fischer, and as expected, f4 is played. And here, if it's pushed, the bishop will only have the option to capture this knight. So queen goes to c7, and this bishop basically goes to f5. And because of the earlier queen move, you can bring the bishop here to c4, and immediately a4 is played over here. So here this basically prevents this pawn push. This pawn move of a4 prevents, you cannot push the pawn move and create an outpost with your bishop over here, which will be pretty dangerous, and that move prevents that. So bishop to e7, now getting rid of the castle on the king side, Fischer, and bishop to e3 by white, and castles on the king side, Fischer, and a5 is now played over here, creating this nice little outpost for the bishop or for the knights in the game. So b5 is played now, regardless, and now on pass on results, and knight captures, and bishop captures the knight back, and queen captures the bishop back with a check. So the king got to move now, so it moves to h1, and bishop drop backs to b5 with the intent of bringing the bishop over here and creating this nice little attack on the king, and making this bishop a very dangerous piece on the board. So bishops, because of that, bishop got exchanged and pawn captures back, and knight comes to d5, attacking the queen and this bishop at the same time. So knight captures the knight and queen captures back, double attacking this rook. So because of that, you either got to move the rook, or you got to exchange off your pieces. But if you capture the rook will come over here, and you will concede the a file for white. So because of that, Fischer plays rook to a4 here. So in case of a capture now, the pawn can capture back, and now this a file is closed now, and there's nothing. It's not an open a file basically. So pawn push to c3 here, and immediately queen goes to a6, double attacking this rook. But because of the knight here, it's fine at the moment. So pawn push to h3 here, creating this nice little escape square for the king, also avoiding back rank checkmate problems in the game. And now rook comes to c8 over here. Rook to e1 is played, and h6 is played by Fischer, allowing an escape square for this king, and avoids any background problems for him as well. So king comes to h2 by white, and bishop goes to g5 now by Fischer. So g3 is played here, but the best move in this scenario was to bring your queen over here. So this g3 basically creates some more weaknesses on the second rank, and also this king is pretty much trapped here. If any of the black pieces ends up over on the second rank, it's pretty much game over for white king. So queen drop backs to a7, and king now comes to g2, sensing the weaknesses. The king came up to g2, and rook now goes to a2 over here. So king into f1 is played now, which is a blunder, because it allows Fischer to play this magnificent move. Rook captures this c3 pawn over here. So here, if you basically, as soon as this move was played, white resigned the game, because I'll show you what will happen if you capture this rook like this. If you capture the rook, the queen will go over here, and it's a checkmate, and the game will be over. So you got to basically cover off this this particular dark square diagonal. You can bring your knight over here or here, but in that scenario you could basically lose the knight and the game as well. So if the rook captures this rook over here, let's say the rook captures this rook, after the check like this, the rook can place another check like this, and the king will come up here. And the queen have two options here. You can either go for and capture the rook, or you can bring your queen over here and threaten checkmate by going over here. And the rook will be forced to come over here, and the bishop will capture the rook. And if the knight captures back, the basically this queen will capture the knight back. And if you place the check, the king will have a nice escape. So there is no perpetual checks on the game. So because of that, as of this position, Wolfgang resigned the game, and Bobby Fischer won this match. So this game is featured in Fischer's most memorable 60 games, and rightly so. So thanks for watching. We'll be back with more such videos.